Hi. Right. I need you to tell me now before I go any further, am I on the right camera and can you hear me? That's the thing, is can you hear me? Because last time we did this, I was there giving it all wah and you lot couldn't hear me. So, where are we? What day is it? It's Friday. Can you believe it's gone Friday? Yes, you can hear me, Doreen. That's brilliant. Excellent. So yesterday we were out of the shop, which is why we're doing this today. It's going to get a very confusing month as well with excellent with all sorts of things going on. So we're just here to confuse you, keep you on your toes, and make it so that you're not expecting us on a particular day. And we're gonna, Sarah's off to Duxford next week, so you'll have her showing you around Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you're gonna have extra next week. It's going to be really cool. Today we're going to do bucket storage. I took them on to Hochanda a week ago yesterday, and you never get enough time to show you something. So I thought for those of you that have, because I've been wibbling on about this for ages, Anne has been waiting patiently. In fact, she made one of our samples so that she could have a play with it. So we've put some of the kits on, okay? So you are able to go on the website and download the pattern, buy the paper copy, or buy one of the kits. Now the kits, we have 3 colourways, but there's no reason why you have to stick to these colourways. In the kit you get the pattern, the bosal, and the fabrics. Okay, so this is the blue version. So you would get your pattern. I was going to say that I've no idea why there's ribbon in there, but I think they were all ribboned together. You don't get the ribbon, not unless you get this one. So you get all 4 fabrics. Now we've put the fabrics in, they're all the same width, the same size fabrics, so you don't have to do it this way. If you wanted this fabric to be your pocket, then there's no reason why you can't do that. You could put this one as your front pocket and then have this one as your inside pocket, but you get all 4 fabrics. Everything that you need is in the kit. Okay, so there's the blue one, there's a grey one, so it's grey and rust, which is quite nice, and there is also a rainbow one. Okay, so you get 2 different rainbow fabrics like that, which if you really like the fabrics you can go and get them. They're on the website. I put them back on yesterday. So you have and then linen textures, so they're all, no, that's a mode fabric, that's from the Petal Power. That would be nice, is doing it in the Petal Power. This one is a Dream, I think it's a Riley Blake Dream, and this is Rainbow Raindrops, and then linen textures. These are all Macawas, so that's from the Hedgerow, both of those. So you would get all of that with them. Okay, now I'm going to do it in the rainbow one, if I can find the fabric. There we go, and that's what we're going to do our sample today in. Alright, now you get 30 centimetres width of fabric, okay, on the bosal and the fabric. Alright, so you actually get a square. There's enough of the on the bosal to make another round, so you would be able to probably, from 2 packs you'd be able to make 3 baskets, I think, on the quick maths. Yeah, you might be able to make 3 baskets. No idea if it would work with wadding, if you doubled up your wadding and put a lot of thingy in it. Don't know if that would work as well. But we are going to go through the pattern and stuff together. So your bosal is, see, it's quite long, very long, okay, and your fabrics are width of fabric by 30 centimetres, so you're able to do them any way you want. Right, before I carry on wibbling, I can see everybody. How are you all? You got some sunshine going on at home? Today we've got beautiful weather, lots of blue skies. It's still quite nippy. It was cold going home last night. I could have done with gloves on last night going home, because the clouds were, you know, it was quite clear. And while we were out in the car travelling, there was quite a bit of sleet and hailstones. So it did say that we might get some snow, but the weather forecast says it's going to be all right. Okay, so where are we? What are we doing? You've got Sunshine Jane. Nice. Right, in the patterns, there isn't one in here, but the one on the digital and the other paper one, we've obviously taken it out of here. You get a, there we are. We obviously didn't have it when we sent it up to Hochanda. You get a template, but if you have the June Taylor Simple Circles, I've used the biggest one on this. And this is designed so that you would get it out of a width of fabric. You needed a 9.5 inch circle. I think the one that I did at home was a 10-inch circle, but it meant that I had to use more than a width of fabric. But when I was doing it, I just picked what I had at home. Okay. Here we go. So you're going to cut out your circle. Okay. So you have your circle and you have your bosal. Now, first off, find Sarah's clips. She's got a nice little tin of clips. First off, you're going to cut out your circle. Then you're going to take your... You got 4 inches of snow! Oh, Finland! Nice. Nice. I like snow. In fact, I'm hoping for, you know, the amount of snow that we had the one year where Dinsmore was completely shut down. If you wanted to make it a different size, on the Tinterweb, you put in the circumference of put in the size of your circle, and it will tell you how big this is going round. So we've worked it out, is if you cut your bosal at 31 inches long, it should go round the circle pretty well. This is actually already worked out for you. Let's go to the overhead here. Okay, so I'm going to clip this so that it goes around. Now you can skip this bit, but it actually this is the bit I showed you on the craft store. Actually, the best thing to do is to work out how much you actually need and work it out before you start attaching any fabric, because you want the fabric to be about 1/2 inch bigger on either end, short end. So you're just going to work your way around, and it seems like a faffy point, but like I say, if you don't do this, you could end up having to unpick it, and you know how much we all hate unpicking. You'd have to unpick it all the way round. Now, because we're going to take it apart again, I don't need quite so many clips. So we'll keep going around here, and you're going to make sure that it meets. Okay, You want it to meet exact, like that. And you would mark it and cut accordingly. The original pattern, I had it overlapping. You don't really need it to overlap, you just need it to meet. Okay? If you do that, mark it and then cut it, then you'll save a little bit extra of your bosal. And then we're going to decide, I'm going to do it with this one on the outside, I think. Alright, so a bit of starch and spray. Let's go back to this one here. So did you watch us on where did we go? Hochanda. You had Sarah on Monday, me on last Thursday. It's always worth a watch, just just to learn and get yourself some ideas, even if you don't buy from us. Right, on a bosal, see if I can move this a little bit closer so I'm not stretching all the time. On a bosal, you've got two sides, okay? On one side it's fluffy, and on the other side it's quite bumpy. This bit has got glue on it, the bumpy bit. So that's the bit that you want to put to the wrong side of your fabric. Okay, like that. You're going to turn it over, and now you're going to iron it on and cut it off. So I'm going to just trim it down here, like this. It's probably a little bit stringent. So we're going to iron it on. Now you need to iron it slow enough that you give the glue chance to melt and adhere to your fabric. Okay. So it's always quite fun to do the Hochanda shows. You know, you go up and you get to talk, and depending on who you're on with, depends on how much of a giggle it is. But they're always, I mean, I had Richard on and he said he'd never seen June Taylor. I think he did. But it's always nice to get somebody who is interested. I mean, Catherine was really interested in the bucket hat, and in fact, yeah, it should work out all right. So I've now stuck this on the back of my circle. I'm going to put this on the machine, and I'm going to do a small stitch all the way 1/8 of an inch away from the edge, and I'm going to baste it because you're going to be fiddling around with it, so you're going to want to you're going to be fiddling around with it, so you don't want it to come apart. So what number are we now? 4. So I'm just going to pick a point halfway. I mean, Sarah's got her 1/4 inch. We probably don't need the 1/4 inch. I'm going to take that one off and put on a normal, like that. So I'm just going to pick a point, all right, on my, yeah, there's a mark here on the other side of the needle. I'm going to try and keep that relatively close to my my edge, and I've put it up to a 3.5 because all I want to do is make it all safe when I'm moving it around. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep that purple line that I've got on there, and just go around. Now this is my outside. The fabric is on the outside of my bucket storage. Okay. So we're just going round. Speed it up a little bit. So yeah, of course it's create and craft now, isn't it? I don't know why they took all that time to change their name, and now they're having to change it again. Okay. Didn't check to see whether there was cotton in the top. I checked the bobbin. That would have been just my my dap to go all the way around. Okay, so let's cut that and lift this. Go back to here. Now, as you can see, I've sewn it all the way round, and I think I hit it all the way round. So I'm just going to trim it off. I'm trimming with pinking shears. You don't have to if you didn't want to. So we're going along here like this. Now I've already measured my bosal, so I'm just going to iron my bosal onto, do you know, I think she moves her bin every time just to keep me on my toes. Okay, so we now have the bottom there. Okay, missed a bit in the middle like that. Love this fabric. This is part of the Petal Power range, and it's just beautiful. We've got quite a few in store. Right, with this one, I'm just going to lay it, okay, on here. And we might need to trim it a little bit at the end. I'm assuming that my end is straight, so I'm going to try and line it so that my dots are at the same point all the way along, so that I can it's going to be fairly straight. So the problem with using this one on the outside is knowing whether or not it's straight. Using it as a pocket would have been quite good as well. So the spots are pretty uniform. Now, don't worry if you've got a little bit of a gap up the top, because we're going to bind it. Okay, so I've left a little bit hanging over at the end. I forgot to mention that. Okay, could have left a little bit more. I've got loads to play with. So I'm just ironing this along here. So there we go. So Sarah's back on. Not next week is Duxford, not the week after. It'll be the week after that. She's back up there, 17th, I think. So we've been going through what we're taking on this morning. She's got some proper treats for you. There's quite a few kits going on. So you'll be able to have more storage. Oh, making a... At home you'd be using a bigger iron probably, and you take your time doing this. Okay, right. Go along like this. So there we go. Hiya Ali, how you doing? Right, so I've ironed this all on now. Like I say, you need to have at least 8 seconds, I think it is, in any one spot to make sure that the glue is stuck down. So take your time with that. We're now going to put this together like this, and we want the the bosal to match up. Okay, you want to make sure that you have all your edges together. Okay, so you want to line it up on either side like that. Can you see where I'm lining up these edges and this edge? Okay, like this. And then you've got to hope that it's all lined up here. And I'm going to sew down next door to the bosal. Don't worry if you end up catching it together, but we're going to sew all the way down there. Okay, so you need to check where your needle is. You're going to line it up so that your needle sits next door to the bosal. I'm going to take it back down now to 2.5. Let's take this off. It's all caught up. Okay, just keep a feel as you're going along. Oh, I forgot the pockets. Scrap that. Let's stop that. This is where I always forget this bit. Right, pockets. You've got to think about these things, you see, and I didn't. Right, your pockets. Let's unpick this. I was getting all excited. If you don't want pockets, you do that bit there. I can never find a pick. Where's the pick? There's a pick. There we go. Right, before you do that, you want to make your pockets. Okay, right, put that to one side. Let's take this off so I can breathe. Okay, so what colour are we going to have inside? I think I'm going to put the teal inside. Okay, and I'm going to make my pockets. This is going to be my front pocket. Alright, so my front pocket I'm just going to fold in half like this. Alright, and iron it. Am I on the front or the side? Which one am I on? We want this one. So you're just going to fold your pocket so that it goes like that, so it's in half. It gives your pocket stability, and the nice thing about this pocket is you can add lines to it, like you should see the mess I've made down there, like Anne did. Anne has put like stitches in here, so it's just big enough for her crochet hooks to go in, which I love that idea. So we're going to fold this over. Now we want this to fit. It's a good job I remembered then, isn't it? So we want this to go over the edge a little bit, like that, so that it goes in, but you want it to stop about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little bit of space, and then I'm going to cut it down here, okay, like that. And we're going to, all depends on whether you've cut it straight in the first place, just folding it down like that. And you're going to do the same with whichever one you're going to have on your other pocket. Okay, you want the same amount. Now, to go around the top, I worked it out that you could, if you cut your binding off the big pocket first. 3 inches. I think it was 3 inches. 3 inches. If you cut the 3 inches off the pocket first, you've got enough for your binding, okay, and enough for your pocket. So I'm trying to do this as we go to show you how quick this actually could be. What time is it? It's 25 past. 1 second. Okay, so I've cut off my width of fabric 3 inches, alright, and that's going to be enough for our binding, fingers crossed. And this one, you want it to be big enough that when this goes on the top, you've got a little bit that sits over. So we're going to fold the edge over, the long edge. We're going to fold it over. So let's chop that bit off there, like this. Are you with me so far? Because I do tend to wibble a little bit. Pockets, yes, and I forget them every time. I can't tell you how many times I had to unpick stuff because I've forgotten the blooming pockets. So we're just going to give this a spritz. Like that. Now, I don't know whether you use a starch, but the starch I find is brilliant. It's excellent for, we use the June Taylor starch. It hasn't got a smell, so if you find some of the smells on some of them a bit, then, as a word, you know, then the June Taylor is quite good. The other one that we buy is Best Press, and we buy the Cotton Fresh one, the blue one, and I like the smell of that one. I'd like to be able to mix the pair of them, but the June Taylor is starchier, so it helps with your cutting. The best thing is to starch it, then cut it. Right. So on here we're going to fold over roughly 1/4 of an inch. Now when you're doing this, you're going to do it more carefully than I am. I mean, I measured mine at 1/4 of an inch and did it properly. This we're guessing, right? I don't know how far you're getting all this. So we're going all the way down here, like this, and then we're going to fold it over and do it again. Now this is the back pocket, so you don't need any extra strength on it because it's going to be against the bosal. Alright, so we're going to come along here like this, and then we're going to top stitch it. Alright, and put a nice little top stitch on to hold this down. Now I left these back pockets quite big so that I could get a pattern in there, or a ruler if you were going to put a ruler in. However, it would flatten off one of your sides, I suppose, if you put a ruler in it. Okay, so I'm now going to top stitch this over here. Okay, June Taylor. Oh, it's a rainbow owl. I mean, you can only go from good things. Yes, Karen, I'm with you about trying to decide on fabrics. I'm terrible, and especially as we buy a lot of fabrics that we really like, it becomes even more difficult. Right, so I'm picking a point. This is going to be, I do hate it when it does that. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I've picked a point on my edge on my foot, and I've upped my stitch length to a 3, which takes it up a little bit. I mean, you could put a decorative stitch along here, no reason why you couldn't do that. So we're going all the way along like this. And almost to the end. And it's just to hold your hem down. Okay. There we go. We've got a nice stitch. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we've now got this. Let's just have a look and see what my edge is like. We're going to flatten that edge off. Okay. I'm going to take that. So it sits flat-ish. Oh, wrong one. Back over there. How's that? Okay, Jean, we'll see you again. Well, see you later. Okay, so we're just going to straighten off this edge, like that. Okay, and then we're going to iron the other one. So we've got one pocket done. To just iron this, and we're going to top stitch along the top of this. Okay, which will also hold it and make it match in. I mean, you could probably get away with not doing it, especially as you're putting segments into it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to swift along this. So I'm going along here. So have you all got plans for the weekend? I'm hoping to meet my son's girlfriend's mother this weekend. That's the plan that I have. I'm working Saturday, so we're in the shop Saturday. We'll probably be shut next Saturday because it's Duxford, and also the Saturday after will probably be shut as well, due to family commitments. So we are, so if you need to come on a Saturday, you're going to have to come this Saturday or in 2 weeks time, 3 weeks time. So the first 2 days of March will be shut. Okay, first 2 days, first 2 Saturdays of March we will be shut. Okay, so just check the edge of this one. It's not too bad. So now we're going to fold this out. Hang on, we've got a privacy thing. Just go away. There we go. And we're going to lay this pocket on top. Alright, like that. And then what we'll do is we're going to sew our segments down from here down to the bottom onto this pocket alone. Okay, so we need to pin it in place. Okay, so yeah, so we've got this colourway and a blue colourway and the grey colourway. They've gone onto the website. Did you get anything from the Going Gone? I mean, it was just going, went. It really was. It just disappeared completely. Right, I've pinned that in place. So we're just going to sew down a couple of these, okay? So I'm going to sew to the side of my raindrops. going to go down here. Now bear in mind, you're sewing this straight to this first pocket, because whatever lines you put down here, you might not want you might not want to put it. Where's the centre? You're going to want the centre one. For me, I put in one on the centre. We put a clip on the top there, like that. Okay. I wanted one on the centre, so I don't need to do it here, this side. What did I do? I went there. How did I do it? Oh, I ran it from there, didn't I? There we go. 1, 2, 3. So I've put a lock stitch at the top. I'm not going to bother down the bottom. Okay. And then along here, like this. Let's cut that one. So we had 2, so there's one in between. Go down there, like that. Oh, I'm going to have to tie that one off because I forgot to do a lock stitch. Like that. Miss one there. Back there. 1, 2. And like that. Now, I haven't done them as small as Anne's. I think Anne's going to be able to put her... See, I'm going to have a line down here which will attach it to the bozal. Okay, so we'll have slightly bigger pockets on this side because of time restraints. Okay. And just put one down there and then one in the middle, I think. Like this. So 1, 2, 3. We'll go down there. Like that. Okay. So give the shop a ring, Ali. I think there's some left on the shelf. Oh, you might be able to get the Colourama one. We tend to hold some back sometimes, so have a look. It might even be the counter one. You've got full price ones, not for the colour, not on the opened ones, but we have some on the shelf if you want to give the shop a ring, and we can have a look and see if we've got one there for you. Right, so for this one now, you're going to put the pocket on your bozal, okay, like this, and you're just going to sew down that middle piece, okay, just to hold it on while you're fiddling. So we're going to sew down here, and then I'm going to put a basting stitch along the bottom. Where are we? Camera. Right, I've put this on top of my bozal and fabric combination, okay, and I'm going to put a stitch down this middle piece, down here where that line is, okay. So let's put that there, and that there, and then I'm going to baste along the bottom and hold it together. You can baste along the top as well, which holds it together. Can you see where it's starting to come away, where the glue hasn't quite held it together? And that's the bit that it starts to open and pull, okay. So you really could do with basting along the top as well, of course. Nope, like this. Okay, right, stitch down the middle. Stitch down the middle. there we go. So you want to curl this a little bit, get it underneath like you would with a quilt, and you're going to go from the pink bit now. Okay, so we're going to 1, 2, and then we're going to run down that line. Now I've left it at a 3, but remember you're starting to get more and more Bosal. I mean, at the moment it's just one layer of Bosal. Once you put the bottom on, okay, so we've put that on, and oh, I didn't do that. Oh. That one down. That one. Too many buttons. Okay, so you can see I've put a line down there. Now I'm going to up my stitch to 4.5, make sure it's on quick, and we're going to baste this on the bottom so that it's just a big stitch, just to hold it all together, because we're now going to put it back onto the Bosal bottom. Okay, and you want to know that it's in the right place. Okay. Now if you've got fabrics at home that you want to do this to, we have Bosal on the site for you to buy. Of course, I like the idea of you all having, you know, a variation on a theme. I've got a few now at home for me to put my different projects in. In fact, I'm going to have to get rid of some of the, you know, like on your Kallax, get rid of some of the boxes. There we go. Right, so I have to get rid of some of the boxes to put these into the little holes, won't I? Okay, so you want to make sure that you are flat as possible, like that, because we are now going to be putting these together. Okay, so I want to make sure that these edges here aren't going to move, because I've not basted those. Alright, so you can see that we're sticking off at the end. I'm going to trim that off afterwards. Okay, so down to there. Okay, right, we're going to line this up again. Now I've done that bit. Okay, so I'm lining it all up. Put one of those in there. I'm going to put that in there like that. Okay, and we're now going to sew these two together, two bits together, down here, like we talked about before. That I went a bit off-piste. Okay, I'm going to change that back up to a 2.5 because we're just sewing fabric together. I'm going to line up my needle. I'm going to go down. And the idea is just to sew next to the Bosal. Go slower set. Now you could use a walking foot for this because there's a lot of layers. And there's no reason why you can't quilt it to the Bosal. You know, if you wanted it to, your lines to all follow, that would work as well. Right, so we're now going to just trim this down at roughly 1/4 inch. I've got about, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 5 layers of fabric here now. However, it looks fairly straight, doesn't it, on those dots. There we go. Okay, so we now have, you see, we now have the pockets and stuff in there. So we're now going to put our circle in there. Alright, so we're going to just now put it back together. Yes, you could use a zipper foot. You know me, I tend to do, even my zips don't have zipper foot. But yes, if you wanted to get close to the bosal, you could use a zipper foot. And we're just going to go around now and hope that we've done it all right and it's all going to fit. So when it gets to this stage you think that looks too big. But it fit before, so it should fit. And I'm going to go around here. And then I'm going to use edge of foot, I think, to sew it together. Like this. So I'm going around like this. So I think Arshan is coming in this afternoon. Be nice to see her. Okay, so it has fit lovely, look. Which is a bit of a relief because it would have been a real pain if it hadn't. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, making sure that where it's slipped it comes back out again, edge of foot all the way around. Okay, let's just check inside. Yeah, all seems to be laid down fairly well. Last bit, because you could, the lining, you would just do the same, really. You would work out your, do your circle, work out, and that, thinks there. You could do your circle and your outside, make sure that they fit together, create your tube, and then you're going to sit it inside. I suppose I could have made a tube ready. Oh, let's go up a little bit. So we're going along here. I'm doing edge of foot. If you put your hand inside your bucket now, as you take these off, you can manoeuvre it. A bit like when you're doing curves. You want, which I suppose you are really, aren't you? Okay, so we're just going along here like this. Now I suppose you could put, you know, on the carry bag and the Lydia, where you put like a false piping, you could do that on the bottom if you wanted to, which would give it a bit more stability too. If you're going to try it with wadding, I would definitely put in false piping to make it stronger. Nearly round. Here. Do you know, today would have been beautiful to go and walk on the beach. We just had a customer in and they've been riding the, you know, the electric bikes around around the bay. They said it's beautiful out there. I keep saying I ought to try an electric bike. Okay. Got no more doodahs. Along here. Almost at the end. By putting your hand inside the bucket as well, you can make sure that everything's lying flat. How's it going? There we go. Okay. Right. Okay, let's go on there. Okay, so we now have your bucket. Okay. Oh, looks like it's going to be a little bit. I should unpick that. In fact, I will unpick that and re-sew that and make sure that it all lines up. Okay, so I would then go in and do the notches. Remember, if it's got a curve that goes out, you notch it. If it's got a curve that goes in, you snip it. So I would go along and notch this, or cut with pinking shears. You could. I sewed it that side. Did I? No, I sewed it like that. You could make sure that you check going round. You can see that I am really not straight going round there. Check it. You could re-sew it if you wanted to, and make sure that you've caught it all the way round, and then you're just going to turn it round the right way, like that. Okay. See what I mean about if you put on your faux piping, you would just sew on either side and it would give it a bit of a bottom. A bit of a bottom. So, there we go. There's another bucket storage. So you would make your inside, so you would have another round circle of your lining and make your tube to go around. You would sit it in, and you need to make sure that when it sits in, you're doing wrong side to wrong side, so that you don't do what I did and put it in thinking, oh, I got to put this inside out, and sewed it and realised that I had the whole thing was just, you're actually going to sit it in and then sew your binding on. So your binding would, you're just going to fold it in half like that, and then put it on the edge of your bucket storage, and I would sew edge of foot. You've got enough binding there to do that. I would sew edge of foot so that as it goes over onto the other side, you've got quite a bit on this side, okay, and you just attach the two together like that, and you have your bucket storage. Now you can either do it, put your binding and do it so that you're sewing it with thinks there. You could either sew it with your machine or sew it on one side with your machine, flip it over and then stitch by hand, which is what I chose to do. And it just finishes it nicely. Now there's no reason why, if you've got a little bit of extra, why that couldn't be your binding, so that you've got all four colours on the outside. But measure it first, because I think you've just got enough width-wise. You'd have to have some in. Yeah, you've only got enough width-wise to put the bottom, the sides on. which is why we did it the other way round, because we could play with the fabric. Okay, so any questions? No, not fast enough. I'll be doing the 1 o'clocks when Sarah's on holiday the last 2 weeks in March, or the 10 days in March. So if you've got any ideas, because you know, there might be something that you want to know. There might be a how-to, or something small that you're going to want to know how to do something. I will chat about it to you if you like. Now, if you buy one of these and you get your Bozal, the bit that's left over, project that's coming up on Thursday next week, will show you how to use the bits of extra Bozal that you have hanging around, because you only need smaller amounts, so you'll be able to use all your bits. There's crochet on Tuesday, and that's it. That's me. I'm out. I've been here long enough. I will see you next week. Have a good weekend. Take care.